a load of logs. Yeah, baby. Welcome back. We are chipping today. Things are going good, and we just got this load out, and we are waiting for another truck. So, trying to come up with ideas to kind of shift things around, make a different video for you guys, and chipper facts. Let's go over some chipper facts with a chipper that some of you might know, and some of you might not. One of the first things when I started to run the chipper, I run skidder for 4 years, and then I started to run the chipper at the shop that's getting rebuilt. It's been a slow go. I started to run that one. It's hot in here. I got wood down there, so she's dangling a little bit, dangling on the chains. But the first thing I noticed when I had a chipper, I run skidder for 4 years, and I started to run chipper. I run that one, and the biggest noticeable difference is you run skidder out there like that for a while, right? And you see everything from that perspective, but then you get up in here and start running a chipper, and you realize that when you chip, this is about what you can see. You can't see, there is no see in the throat of the chipper down there. So when you're putting trees in, you can't see anything. I'm leaning forward right now. So you ride about like this, your feet kick back because we took the foot pedals out because it's so much easier to have it in the joystick. So the biggest thing is you can't see where your timber's going at all. That's one of those things that you just get used to, and after a while, you get it, you got it. But it's right about from here to here. That's about the width of your throat. And then, see, your wings come out, your edge comes out to here, goes into there. So that's your throat of the chipper right here. But you can't see anything, and you don't know where to put it. That was the first thing that I learned while getting up in a chipper is, first of all, you're 10 foot off the ground when you're sitting up here. You're probably a little more than 10 foot off the ground in the seat. And then you can't see at all what you're dealing with. That was the first the thing that I noticed when I got up in here, because I'm used to running skidder, and that's all you see is the throat, and if the wood's going in, if the timber's going in, if the feed wheels are working, well then you get up here and you start running and you realize you can't see anything. So that was the first biggest kind of shock, like, oh wait, you can't see anything in here. So and I did mention we put the swing in that hand, didn't I? Put the swings in this hand over here, so that's how that works. These chippers are run totally different than that Barco, and totally different than like your knuckle boom loaders. I think they're run differently around the country from what I'm seeing on YouTube. Everybody runs them all different. Now here's a trick too. If you want to go a little faster, get your grapple spinning, and then she'll spin right around quicker. Let's get her set down. We'll wait for the next truck. But yeah, the controls are different in here than that slasher. That slasher is run the same as the Prentice slasher, and the two chippers are run exactly the same. Them both got this one hasn't been all redone with these joysticks, and they're the same as the new chipper. But nothing else that we have here runs like this. So going from that to this is kind of tricky. But once you do it a couple times, your brain totally switches modes. So you're totally fine. I can jump in that slasher and go slash, which is probably what I should do right now. But that next truck should be here any minute. So I'm just gonna wait it out. But once you start jumping back and forth, it's fine. That one doesn't. That one has foot pedals for your swing to go back and forth. That's how they were designed. But now they've changed it. They've changed it, trying to make it easier. My toes would go numb all the time. My feet would get numb, and then you step out here, and if you're not careful, you can fall off. And if you fall on the chipper, there is no soft spots. So if you fall on this girl, you're hurting for a certain. That's what we're dealing with here. So you don't like to fall. No one wants to fall at all around here. It's not a good thing. So, just a couple chipper facts. You know what I mean? So we've changed a bunch of stuff to come in the joysticks. What's funny about running a chipper is, after I run this one, I go get in the... I can jump in that slasher, and I can run that slasher just fine. No problems at all. If you put me in the new chipper, I'm very confused. Because the new chipper, all your controls are up here. They put all the controls up here, and you have a computer monitor here, and all your buttons are up here. The joysticks are the same, and the buttons are the same on the joysticks. We designed that the same. But the funny part is I got my spout stuff is right here, and then my conveyor's forward is right here. So when you turn that on, that goes around, and then your feed wheel is tucked back in here, and that's forward, reverse. Both of them push this way, you'll get everything going forward. The funny part is if you run this chipper, this is me, and I jump in that new one, and I need to adjust my spout, I will reach over there. I will reach over in this direction, and there is nothing over there. So I will still, when I'm chipping, and I'm looking back at I'll reach over here, and there's no box on the new chipper over here, but I'll still reach over here and try to turn something when there's nothing there. So the funny part is after you run the new one, when you get in here, I start running it, and I start doing this. Trying to turn my spouts or pick my conveyor up, and there's nothing up there. That's the funny part is your brain automatically starts changing, and I'll go like this. But most commonly, when I run the new one, my hands are always down here trying to adjust my spout, and that's not how it works. So, yeah, it's just all fun in the game. The biggest fact is that blows my mind is all the gauges work in here. This has all been redone. Everything works like it's supposed to. And everything, all of it works. So if your motor starts to overheat, the shutoffs come on, all that stuff. It just blows my mind. Stiff legs, right here. Oh, you feel it? Yep, we felt it. There we go. Up and down stiff legs, your stabilizers, chipper facts. 24 volt on that 12 volt here, which means that you have 24 volt and 12 volt in your cab. So before you take these panels down, all these are full of wire. Before you start messing with wiring in here, you have to have a wire tester, because there's 24 volt stuff in here too, and if you're not careful, you can get stuff jacked up. So you don't ever want to do that. That 24 volt, 12 volt thing is real tricky in here, but it was rewired completely, and they did an excellent job. So they really did a superb job. Grapple's Rotobeck. We had that question. Somebody said, is that a Rotobeck grapple? That is. And then when that broke off, somebody said, well, why can't you just call Rotobeck and buy a brand new one? Well, yeah, you can. You totally can. But we're not going to spend the thousands of dollars to buy a new one, that $7,000, $8,000 to buy a new one, when we got one at the shop, and we can repair it and buy the broken part and fix the other one. We have right now a whole spare grapple built at the shop, ready to go on either chipper. So that is a Rotobeck. A fun fact is that piece right there is the same as that piece right there. So you can actually interchange parts from the Barco to this, because that is a Rotobeck too. Yeah, I mean, them are not dime a dozen, so we don't mess around with those. But that one there works. That one there works good. Another fun fact with these are they're all the same. Those are the same on the new chipper, this chipper, the other chipper. This one come off the old chipper at the shop. The problem with this one is it has 3/8 fittings coming out of the cylinders. The one at the shop has 1/2-inch fittings coming out of the cylinders, and those are all pipe, and this is pipe. And the new chipper has 1/2-inch JIC. So what I talked to Brian about is, why don't we start changing these so they're all the same, For instance, Josh has JIC all on his grapple. He doesn't have pipe fittings in there because there's nothing pipe on that chipper, and there's nothing pipe on his skidders or the slasher over there. But for us, this thing's full of pipe. That's even that thing has got. I mean, we had a couple really good MacGyvers working for us. That thing's got JIC pipe. You name it, that Barco's got it. Kind of like the chipper, it's got a little bit of everything. Whatever we had to get by, or whatever they had to get by, they did. So you're kind of running it, whatever you got, and you're throwing stuff together, and it's really some goofy stuff. So yeah, fun. Conveyor chain. It's working good. It broke the first week I was worried, and ever since then it's been fine, which is really good. So, happy about that. Here comes the truck. I mean, I'm just going to get his door opened up, and we're going to start loading him. Chipper facts. I do not run either engine at full RPM. No. I get them to dial those in just right. Okay, you got to know how much chain you got for this motor, for the small one, and your big motor. I run it at a certain RPM. But if you look at what we're producing, we had a little back spray on the last one, and they're just gorgeous. Kind of hard to tell, but we're producing just beautiful chips with this baby. So neither engine is running that wide open. Adjusting them for specs and bark quality and all that jazz. All of our not every load, every day usually they're adjusting, or they're checking our quality and bark content. So every day you're working on this thing to make sure that the foil chains are good, that your knives are good, that everything's rolling together just fine. That's what we're dealing with. Oh, Jimmy there, let's check him out here. He's in no big hurry. And we won't watch him anymore. He is checking out the tires on that truck for some reason. But yeah, just some chipper packs. Like I had to wire that CB in, and when I did that, you had to get back there and make sure you were on 12 volt, which I knew this was, so I think I jumped it off from that, but that's how it works. These are all pilot controlled, which means that you have hydraulic lines under here. They're not electric, they're hydraulic, this one has a slight leak in. So that's not cool. This one's a little better, but it's still got a little leak over here on that one there. So you got a handle, and then you got, let's see. Right here. They got them all nice and hip. They did a good job. They're all in here. You got some hydraulic lines. Only running 500. This is your electrical wires for your joystick. Them are all pilot valves, so they're running 500 psi, and then it goes to the valve bank underneath us. That's you can't see the bolts; they're under the seat, but it's bolted down underneath there. But keep coming. That's good. Every truck driver is different too. Every truck driver, you got to stop. Some of them you stop and they come back a foot. Some of them you say stop and they stop right away. Well, you got to learn every truck driver, and just a fun stuff. So drop some questions below if you have some questions, and we can go over some more chipper facts. But that's what we're dealing with today, and we got to get this chipper fired up so we can do some work. Take off out of here. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, just keep rolling. Final chipper fact. When you're the easiest side to chip on is your left side because your boom's over here. So you lose sight over here. You can't see as good over here as you can over here. So it's always easier to chip from that side. And so I always try to keep this clean so the guy running skidder will always bring wood to this side. I leave this as my stash pile, my reserves. Yeah, baby.